boys here on Sunday Chat. Say good morning to my brother Landon, to Wayne, to Clark. Welcome in the chat, everybody. How you doing, Dad?
Well, I'm still a little under the weather, but thanks to a nice stiff cup of coffee, I can actually speak. So I don't know. I'm hoping you're going to carry more of the show today, son.
Yeah,
I'm going to throw it right on your back. I'm going to have to hit the old cough button occasionally. Other than that, I'm doing fantastic and actually very excited about a lot of stuff that I have coming up for not just the crew, for our lives. And it's going to be a lot of fun, Brent. I can't wait for it all to unfold.
I can't either. We're brainstorming and talking out kind of the plans and who we're gonna get to interview and get to speak with in Vegas, and line that up and how we can best share with you. I'm getting fired up for that. Just got to have an awesome conversation with Sean this weekend, the legend himself.
The legend, yeah.
Can't wait to get him up there. It wouldn't be the Staple Crew without the legend speaking up there. Same with Northern Living. Any of you in the chat who are going to Vegas, if you got a 15, 20 minute in you, we're going to try to figure it out. We want to get these peeps in there. Cause you're our people.
Leanne Breeding will be there. Leanne,
yes. It's been so good catching up with her. Sending you much love too, Joanna. Becky, welcome in.
Joanna.
We got Say Ray. We got the crawfish. The other Brent. The real Brent on X who's posting.
Yeah.
Some people think that that's me, and I'm honored because Brent does such a good job posting. So thank you, the crawfish. Teresa, my love, welcome in. Today, we want to catch up on, Dad. You've been going over a lot of things. I want to hear more. I want to hear more about this big picture download. Maybe just hum a few bars on that. I know you really want to discuss that more on Thursday. But what were you doing? What came to you?
As you guys know, I've been a little under the weather, so I like to ground, take my boots off. It's been nice and warm here lately, so I sat out in the sun in my chair and just trying to get some, vitamin D and sunshine in me. And just enjoying myself, just chilling out. Wasn't listening to any videos or, I was just chilling with the dogs and throwing the ball occasionally here and there. And it just started clicking. You know how you get those downloads. Some people call it channeling. Some people call it just your mind sort of wanders off and it starts to receive things, that concepts or ideas or things that you haven't really contemplated prior to that, or maybe in that combination of thoughts. And it started to resonate. And I said, oh boy, I know what this means. This means it's time for Ellen to sit down, shut up and listen. And which is, as you know, being my son is not the easiest thing for your father too. So I ended up just, okay, I'm a sponge, send it. Let me know. I'm absorbing all of this. And it just was like that mechanical, here's a sentence, here's a sentence, here's a piece, here's a piece. It was almost like a like a mechanical thing that was downloading into my head. And I was like, oh, yes, yes, I can see that. That's becoming more clear to me. That's clearer. Well, of course it has to be like that. Of course, that's the next step. Of course, that's why price is stagnant. Of course, this is where how much longer it can be stagnant, and how long it will be until it's impossible for it to no longer be stagnant. How much longer the 4-year cycle will last. Like those kind of big picture things were just like boom, boom, boom. And why that, how that has always worked in a monetary system for all mankind, and why that is like no longer the way forward. And it was so profound. And as many people know on this show, or people that follow our channel, son, is a lot of what I do is turn the camera on and just let that stuff flow. Well, this one really was amazing. And I ran in the house, grabbed a note pen, and I don't like dictating into my phone. I don't know what it is. There's something about the physical putting a pen to a page that is so solidifying. It's like, yes, yes. And it's not even, it's not even that I read it again. It's as soon as I write it down, it's done. It's like, I don't need it again. Right?
Yeah.
It's manifested on paper now. And then, you know how you and I always talk about when we're always talking about you are what you think, or you are what you believe, or you are what your life experience is. And I really, going forward, think that yesterday was a significant turn for the people that follow this channel, in the sense that something came to me, and I think it makes a whole lot of sense to me. It's quite complicated in the big picture of things. So then I think there was 18 different sentences that I wrote down. Okay. And then I went into detail into some of them later, because they really jive together. And I don't think I can even make one show out of it. I thought, well, that's great. I'll use it for Sunday's content. And it was so complicated. I was like, nope, this is going to have to be like a Thursday night series. And I'm going to probably make it into at least 2 shows. And I Lord willing, I'm sure that it will flow the way it came to me on Thursday nights. I'm hoping. So I'm not trying to sell Thursday night show or anything. What I'm trying to say is, I think this is the way I'm going to really focus upon what crypto means to mankind and how it's going to work going forward as a base principle of the future of this channel. And and when it comes to you so organically and holistically like that, it's just like, wow, wow. If it makes that much sense to me, I think other people are going to put their lives together with it. And then they're going to say, well, okay, I'm not just listening to Alan. I've had those thoughts or those things connecting with me. It's like, he's not the guru in the sky. He's just a guy he's a messenger. He's the conduit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm so excited about doing Thursday night show, guys. I'm going to do a show tomorrow, I believe, and I'm going to post it Wednesday morning that I already have written down. It's more about XRP stuff. And by the way, XRP is obviously in that show. But yeah, it's going to be fun.
Robert's calling it the pre-Vegas mind meld. Say Ray's calling it divine download.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going with that one. Yes.
Whenever I've heard you say this, and then you end up doing a series of videos, they end up being the best ones. Like I got favorites and all, but you've done some when call coming through like this. I think what you do really, really well is connecting the dots, and it's huge, and it comes through me too, and especially when I'm talking to you, talking to people like Sean, I'm talking to Landon and Cody. I got it this week talking to Leanne and Teresa, and it is like the more I'm seeing it in my personal life too with my friends. I just had my niece's 3rd birthday party yesterday, and then another one of my best friends, Lauren, it was her birthday, and it was so cool. Like going to 2 different parties. It was like my 2 different groups of friends, and how that is coming together, and I'm trying to be like a positive magnet always, and an outlet for them to be able to download and exchange, and and that just keeps building momentum on itself. And so I'm really glad to hear that came to you in a big way, Dad. It's really exciting when that happens.
Yeah,
And
it is.
every
I
time
think it's
I talk to one of you, it comes through. It happens in the comments. Somebody will write something. I'm like, man, that just clicked with me.
Yep. Yeah.
I read that one. I read that one last week from Atlantic. Oh, I wish I had that. It was just so good. All on the bars of it. It was kind of that. Here it is. Being introduced to crypto has impressed upon me in other areas. Do you realize that being exposed to this space, I stopped watching mainstream media? I refer to independent media and X now. It's an awakening for me. And I just, man, as soon as I read that comment, I was like, this whole space has been such an awakening for me. It's like, I'm not even sitting here worried about, hopefully getting rich on crypto someday. It's like all the other opportunities being presented to us now.
Yeah.
So big in the space. And there's so many people that we know that are involved with or connected to or want to make something or build something on XRPL.
Yeah.
And what I got from the conversation with Sean this week was like the one that really hit was like, you want to own the railroad tracks, and moreover, you want to own the payment system. And the way it's kind of going and aligning, and like from documents I've read and things that I've gotten into just with XRP, I mean, it's crazy how connected this thing is. And the way it's written into these things, it's like, this is part of the plan, man. This isn't even us just trying to will it and like hopefully price go up and maybe it'll get used, man. It's like, no, this thing is all over it. It's directly connected to it. It is inside. Like everything that I can download or learn about XRP before we go to Vegas is just going to be time well spent. It's all the questions I ask AI now, all the documents I go back and look at. It's like, dude, how can I brush up on XRP? How can I, just like I talk about with like, how to explain blockchain to somebody in 10 minutes, which I want to continue to perfect and get down to where it's like, there's that exciting pop moment. I want to do that with XRP because it's so many people that I know personally that are investing like in crypto are like started getting into it and they're like, yeah, dude, I see it. I see the light. I see the railroad here. I got to get into it. And so, I want to make that a digestible thing, that I can share alongside that chat.
Right.
And part of my notes is like, how do you explain the differences? I think once you get into that, it's like, what's the difference between Bitcoin? What's the difference between that and Ethereum? And a lot of us who've been in the space for a long time, we studied those two a lot. And we thought those projects were going to be subsequently in the future. Now, every blockchain that's been created feels like they've tried to expand, not just supply, but functionality. And you look at what XRP is, and it's just that, I don't know. I just feel like it's that kind of perfect system for the time and for the future.
Yes.
I feel like that's kind of what Bitcoin is now. The Bitcoin network is like that. It's that now thing in the moment, and it's gonna soak up a lot of liquidity, and it's gonna be huge. It's gonna be a very valuable trade piece in the future. But what do you want to own? And it's like, man, I want to own the payment system. I want to, not financial advice. Obviously, everybody, it's, it comes with talking about it for years and researching it for years and talking to people who know more about it than I do.
Right.
And so I'm excited for that to come through. How to make such a complex thing and all these dots that you connect for us, Dad. It's like, how do I make that simple and digestible for new people coming into the space, new people coming into the crew? So what I'm working on. It's like how to make it simpler, even in my own head.
Right.
So I'm not just, randomly firing at all these different things. And it's like, oh, okay, well, there's this and there's that. It's like, well, if some project came along that was being built upon it, what kind of project would I want to look at to invest in or be a part of or support? And it's cool that you and I have that chance now, because people come to us with opportunities and share things with us. And I really appreciate that, crew. We've gotten, the trust stuff, and we've got to do the IBC stuff, and we've got like all those things have come to us.
The financial products that come across I'll just call it my desk, are starting to really mount. They're opportunity. When I was in Florida, I need to talk about Florida, by the way. Don't let me forget that.
Okay.
But the financial opportunities that are coming our way they're gaining. They are growing and they are institutionalizing. But I have a whole different spin on a lot of that from basically my download yesterday. But also, I'm running into people that they're not wealthy people, but they have avenues that make so much sense for their generational wealth that they're like, I want your people, Alan, to get a hold of this product. I want them to do what I'm learning. And it's coming from so many different angles because everybody wants everyone to do well. Like I said, it's so unique. I was trying to explain this to a guy in the airport because I spent 48 hours in airports. And I was like, there's never been an investment tool like this. And he goes, oh, well, yes. Oh, you're so mistaken, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, like what? And he goes, well, gold and silver. And I go, well, look, I've been a gold and silver bug my whole life. Well, then how could you go to crypto if you have pure sound money? And I said, well, here's the difference between gold and crypto. And maybe you'll get this. Everybody who's on a show on YouTube who talks about gold is selling their book. They're all receiving a commission from every ounce they sell. Period. End of story.
Mm-hmm.
Crypto YouTube channels don't make a dime when you buy XRP. Not a single dime. It's impossible for me to make money from you buying XRP. And he looks at me, well, not all the gold people are like that. I said, yeah, no, all of them. All of them. There's not one. I've been in this since 1981. I bought my first silver futures contract. Okay. With the Hunt brothers. Don't even go there with me. All of them make a commission from you buying 1 ounce of silver. Period. And all those silver guys and gold guys that are telling you about this product, it's a phenomenal product, and people should have some precious metals in their portfolio, of course. But they're all making money on you. And I mean, the spreads have gotten ridiculous. Like they're making 5 and 8 and 10% on your transactions. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. When you go to Coinbase, they're making commission. But me telling you Coinbase isn't paying me to tell you that. There's a big, honest difference there. And I think he finally got it. He kind of looked at me and he goes, well, yeah. And I said, how much richer would you be had you bought crypto 10 years ago instead of silver? Like times 100, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I'm not trying to bag on precious metals, but people are finally coming to the reality that it's not just about getting a bag and holding the bag. It's about what that bag is going to be used in financial products going forward to generate you personal income without you lifting a finger. That's where it's all going. We haven't even started that yet. Yeah. We haven't even started that. So it's huge, guys. It's really, really big. It's just a bit of a shame because a lot of us aren't really well off, and we need number go up now, and that isn't happening. But all these financial products are being built right now, all of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got Zips in the house.
What up? We got Pete. Greetings from Canapoli. Good to see you, my friend. Yeah, the value in is not selling it. I strongly agree with that, Oak.
You're gonna love my Thursday night show because I'm gonna prove that too.
Love it. Man, there's some good ones.
I need to get this out. I'm going to talk about Florida now.
Okay.
For those of you who were not at the show, I know Zip was there, and there's a few people in the chat that were there. There's two profound things that happened to this man. Okay. Number one, when you're surrounded with like-minded people and people who want well for mankind, the whole room vibrates with that energy. So it's not just about, I didn't hear one person come up to me and go, Alan, how come it's only $2? Nobody ever said that. No. Everybody said, and I don't think even if it was still at 50 cents, they would ask me that. I really don't. It's not the atmosphere, right? So first of all, I want to say that the beauty of being in crypto is not about when Lambo, right? Mm-hmm. But there was a profound experience that happened in this man's life. And maybe some of you can resonate with this story. But I know it sounds weird that somebody's made, 400 or 500 videos, that I would be nervous to talk to people in public. I know that sounds a little weird to maybe some of you, because I'm not a nervous guy. I don't get nervous about anything. I'm not that guy. I don't fear many things, and I didn't fear it. I was just like nervous, you know. And right before we went on the stage, I had a conversation with the guy, the host, Rob. Love you, brother. He was panicked. He was clearly excited about this, and he was nervous, and he was making me nervous. And I got to get away from that guy because this is like not good. You know, it's like I'd rather, you know, not be around somebody nervous when I'm really nervous. But he says, well, so what do you know, he's kind of looking at it like, you want to talk about something specific? And I just was like, no, that's not how I operate. I'm just thinking, I'm getting away from that. They're going to plan this whole script and I'm out. I'm like, no, I don't know what I'm going to say, but I'll know it when I get there. Right. Yeah. You know, this is kind of the way
it'll download to my antenna.
Download, Mr. Download.
It's supposed to. Yeah.
So we get up on stage, and there's 4 of us on stage. It's Todd Mickle, myself, and I believe his name is Jay from Caleb Brown. And there's a series of questions, and it's kind of that deal. But when it was time for me to speak, it was one of the most fluid and easy things I've ever done in my life. And I'm telling this story because I was really afraid of it. For the first time in my life, maybe in my whole lifetime, I was afraid of doing something. And it literally, I could have went on for an hour and a half. People that were there, Zip was there. People came up to me and told me that was one of the coolest things they had ever heard anybody say in crypto, a lady in particular. But I was at the barbecue the following day, and there was a gal, I hope she's listening. She came up to me and she said, you know that you're receiving all of that, right? And I was like, excuse me, what's your name again? Come on, let's go over here. Because there was a lot of people around us. And so it was a friend's ex-girlfriend or whatever. And she wasn't really into the whole thing. And she's like, you're receiving all of that. That's being given to you. And I was like, wow, yeah, that's very accurate. How do you know that? She goes, oh, I could see it all around you. It was an aura. Not only was it an aura, it was like dense, and it was all around you. And you were allowing it to come right through you. Most people, they put a bubble up around themselves and they don't let it to come through the shell, right? And you were just allowing it to come through you. Mm-hmm. And I told her, I said, I have no idea what I said on that stage at all. In fact, I couldn't even tell you what the subject matter was about, to be honest. I do know this. I never wanted to get off that stage. Ever. And now I know Sean's in the house now, the legend. He played in rock bands. Now I know what, once they get connected, you're not just connected to the crowd, you're connected to something bigger than that even, right? And once you get a taste of that with a microphone, the only thing I would have been better is if I could have had a mic walking around on stage. I was sitting in a chair with a group. It's magical. It's unbelievable. The energy is like off the charts, was for me. I highly urge anybody that's ever had a phobia about speaking in crowds, give it a go, because it's created a monster in this guy.
Yeah,
I am simply now looking for opportunity for me to get on stage and talk. I'm looking for that personally now. Mm-hmm. And now I know, like a destiny. I don't know if it's a destiny, but it's a path. It's one portion of the path in which I'm going forward on. Yeah.
We can all see that happening for you. You know,
I'm
that's what
sorry.
the work you've put in here, Dad, you know, that's what we can all see happening for you. Um, you know, you're already being invited backstage and XRP, and you know, that was last year, you know, and like that's only, you know, gained steam going into this show. But yeah, with these meetups, I mean, we talked about the meetup here at my house, um, where you know it you went on for 40 minutes and it was like the best 40 minutes. Like I couldn't believe we didn't record it. You know, I was like, dude, did he
Yeah.
just explain how the whole system works? Like, where did that come from, dude? You know,
That day was really good. I
it was,
remember, yeah, about a 45-minute span where I explained how money works, and it was
and
clear to me.
I've
Yeah.
done public speaking. I've done stand-up comedy. I've played in a band in front of my whole graduating class and their families. Like, there's a buzz that comes from that, and probably that connective mode that you're talking about. There's something more there. And you've told me my whole life. You know, I've pretty much when I understood I didn't want to be a comedian in my life because I didn't feel like making fun of other people. Uh, I I started writing, and my dad is like, "Man, let them all come through you. You know, let every spirit, let every energy, whatever is out there, let it come through you." And then it's like I've talked about on here, like having like I have like a meditative space, and it used to just be this big black box that I was in, this void, this nothingness. And we talked to a friend on the show, and she's like, you should be filling that with like your favorite environment and amazing things that you think are beautiful and calming, and then allow the spirit to be there with you in it. You know, if you want to sit there and receive a message or receive a response or gain something or access something, allow it to be there with you. And getting that buzz, when a basketball team goes on a 15-0 run, they call that the juice. When the juice is in the building, man, I would love to see that speech if anybody filmed it of you, just to see what came
Nobody
out,
did.
you know.
Nobody filmed it.
Uh,
That was one of. I mean, it wasn't.
yeah,
I don't know that it was all that great, but I mean, it was different, than the other speakers were talking about. Everybody was kind of more matter of fact, and I was kind of talking to the people. What I remember, but very. It's really. It's almost better that I don't get to see it again. You know what I mean? I used to watch
yeah,
my videos, and
yeah.
now I don't because I think they hinder my growth. They don't allow me to. Well, I got to fix what I said wrong in the last one. It's like, no, man, just keep rolling. Just next, let's go forward with this thing. I'm not trying to prove mankind right or wrong or correct or the system's broken and I got to fix it. I don't need to be that guy. There's enough people on YouTube doing that already. I
Yeah.
need to help mankind who's willing to sit down, relax, and receive. And when you can be with those kind of people on the planet, it's you can't help but succeed. Sorry, it's whatever you want to call it, God's love, light, energy, source, whatever you believe in, whatever angle you believe in. If it's coming through you, you're allowing it to you. And all of us get caught up in our busy day of, I got to get this done. That's got to happen. I got to do this. Oh, there's my favorite TV show. And they're going to fill my mind full of what hate and fear and problem. Like if you're getting that all day long, where's the time for you to receive? And I mean receive, not other mankind's words, which is, I've said this on my channel before. this channel before, and this rubs a lot of people the wrong way, and I don't mean it to. I used to read a lot, and then I quit reading, and I got smarter. And one of the things I learned was you don't know where the author was when they wrote the book. Where was the connection? What did it flow right through them? Some books you read them and you're just like, wow, this is so profound. This is bigger than the man that wrote it. Those are incredible books. Man, woman, you know what I mean? But sometimes you run across those in your own life. You don't need a book. You don't need the pages. You simply need to pay attention, and you have to want it to come to you. And once you do that, then you turn on the subject matter. It's like, okay, well, all right, source, what about this? And then you have to be willing and able to turn off the phone and all the noise and all the rest of it and allow. And boy, is it powerful. It's just the true energy of why we're here. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so good.
When I was living in Florida, Dad, I had a couple months where I was reading. I think I read like 8 books in a month. And what it taught me, it was like kind of like what you're saying, it's like, yeah, a lot of that ran through me and it connected with me and it was great. And I was driving with it. I was having fun. But what it showed me, it was like when I started to look at the books and what I was going to the bookstore to seek out, it was showing me what I was seeking. It was like, what is Brent interested in? How does Brent want to expand? And at the time, I was reading about self-growth. I was reading about spiritual growth. I was reading about healing. I was reading about blockchain. And I was reading about probably travel stuff too. Probably a lot of boat stuff. But it was like, okay, this is like who Brent is right now. And I basically started to go and do those things out in the world. And then I got connected with more boat people and more conversations with people that wanted to grow and heal and help others heal. And then I got more involved with you and people who wanted to talk about blockchain and like things that we're interested in. And then it's like the whole universe starts to open up and it's like, wow, I'm actually a part of it and I'm receiving it from everyone else in the real world, not television set, not face buried, singularly into a book. It was like, now I'm that person out here creating, because I understand what I'm desiring, what I want to seek. So
interesting.
I did get smarter. I did get smarter from it. Sure. I believe that too. And I think you and I kind of used to disagree on that. And I'm seeing that now. It's like, no, being a doer and connecting with people and allowing it to come through you. I'm really glad we haven't scripted our show because of that. Because we get to have very different, like every one of your videos feels very different to me still. And every time we do a live, I feel like we have a very different topic or energy or vibe like today. Yeah. Where it's like, man, if whatever you guys want to seek out, whatever it is that you are, kick the doors open and go find people who have that common interest. And we're so excited to connect all of you who have very similar interests, even specifically in crypto. Landon texted me today that he and Zip got together and talked, and it's like, yes, like of 2 people I'd want to put together, it's like those guys.
Right. Yeah. They're
And
both sharp.
what their conversations were. The conversations I just had with Leanne and Teresa, it was like, boom. Wasn't just price go. Wasn't price go up at all. It was everything else.
Yeah. Isn't it interesting, Brent, that you and I both moved to Lauderdale and both had almost the same identical experience?
Yeah.
When I moved to Lauderdale, is really when there's a book many of you may or may not have heard of called A Course in Miracles. And when I moved to Lauderdale to get into yachting, that was my book. I was 4 hours a day reading that. Yeah. And that book means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. But that book was really a big piece of my life then. And then there was some healing books and a few other books that I read right at that same period of time. So it's interesting that you had that same experience. It is that feeling of I'm 3,000 miles away from home and I need something to ground me or, give me energy or give me belief. And so a very spiritual awakening. Yeah, we did. Let's face facts. I was open to spirituality a lot prior to that, but it was a big growth step for me on a personal level. Yeah.
And we don't want to sound like kooks to you guys, but we lucked out, like the two of us, to be people that we feel like we've witnessed miracles in this world, like the crazy eye-opening stuff where you're like, dude, how did that heal up? How did that happen? How was that course corrected the way that it was? And so that's kind of what we're speaking on, a lot when we talk about this stuff. It's not a specific moment, but a collection of them, and then you get enough of them. And like you're talking about with the download, and I'm glad we're talking about all this, because it's like, those have been the videos in the past where I've like, I see that video that you put out in the series, Dad. And I'm like, I gotta rewatch that. I gotta reread that book, because it was that impactful to me, of like maybe a direction that I wanted to see this whole thing in, in a bigger picture way that's actually going to help all of us. Which I think is kind of the point you and I have talked about going with the show in the future. It's like, what are those opportunities going to be, and when can we share them with the crew? When are we going to be, we're not going to put, our sources and our people in a bad spot because we share them. But when it's time and it's right, hopefully we can all still be early on these opportunities that are coming.
Yeah.
And it's fun. It's fun to hear your connecting of the dots and then see the opportunities coming. And it's like, yeah, dude, we do need to do more videos and talk about all this. Like, we do need to keep this thing going. Crew ain't going nowhere.
It was, everything that happens in your life truly is, if you believe in these things, is divine intervention or whatever. Like I was so sure that the future of my financial life was going to be Forex trading. And that's when I ran into crypto.
Yeah.
So, you move to the next step. And I was going to go down a road of saying one's better than the other. I'm not going to say that at all, but I am going to say, on your spiritual journey, in the beginning, you're like, oh, well, I have to become this thing. Mm-hmm. I have to become it. Towards the middle or latter half of your spiritual journey in this lifetime, you realize that you've always been it.
Yeah.
And that's the sweet spot of it, that I don't have to like be a monk and for 20 straight hours to be any closer to divine energy than to walk my life. That person is no higher ranking in God's eyes, period. That's impossible. Okay. And that's what I've learned. Like, I don't care who you are, what's inside of you, and the love from, like, you can call it above or from all around, is the same. That person isn't more loved than I am. Like, that's impossible. And there are many reasons how I know that, and we won't get completely into that in this show, but I know that it's impossible. For all of you who are out there who are lonely and you think that you're not loved, you could not be more mistaken. You truly are loved, and you are love. And I had a great conversation with Todd the other day, and it's so true. One of my things that I really focus on recently is the people that offend you the most or rub you the wrong way are your best opportunity for you to gain spiritual growth. It's not the person patting you on the back telling you what a fantastic human being you are. Nope, that isn't them.
Cool.
And there's a very famous, he's a Navy SEAL, and he wrote a few books. And the one of the things that he attributed getting through the really terrible zones in the war, I'm paraphrasing this whole story. Probably everybody in this chat already knows what I'm talking about. But he saw the love of his enemy. You have to put yourself in that place, because that's what I learned a while back was my enemies. If I can truly love them within themselves, then I no longer ever have enemies. Okay, number one. But number two, that's as godlike, if you will, or as spiritually connected as a human being can get, is when you see another being who isn't being good to you or anyone else, and you rise above that and you see them as the pure soul that they are. That's godlike action. That's as godly as a human being can get. I don't care if you are running a sermon for 1 million people on, you're not more godly than that person at that moment. And I hope that people can understand that, because it's your opportunity every moment of every day is to just treat everybody with appreciation, and then you're good. And then, what you'll start to realize or see in your life is that, for lack of a better term, SOBs don't come across your trail.
Mm-hmm.
I don't experience them. I just don't. And it's a sweet spot of life. Yeah.
We had one resonate here, Dad. Let's connect on it. Amazing Alan just mentioned A Course in Miracles. Wow, the timing. I just started to go to sleep to the audiobook of A Course in Miracles this past week. It resonates beautifully. JVL, can't wait for you to get into that workbook.
Yeah.
You want to pick up Course in Miracles? Like, go and read the Course in Miracles workbook. I double dare you, anybody.
Yeah.
You will see very deeply into life after that moment.
Speaking
your
of
mortality will mean something different to you. It did for me I haven't even gotten through the whole workbook, because it's deep, man.
Speaking of channeling, there is no author of that book. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
So and And everybody finds that book at a different time in a different place, and it doesn't matter that I found it 30 years ago now. Gosh, is it that long ago? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But and I can't say that I graduated from it, but I'm saying that I don't follow it much anymore because I just went somewhere else. It doesn't mean it's not relevant today. I think it's probably more relevant today than ever before. But yeah, it's where you find it in your life, in your path. Yeah, which is most important.
Becky's got, when annoying people begin to bother me, I call it testing my Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that book was channeled to a lady where she was woken up in her dreams every night. And it wouldn't stop hounding her until she started writing it down. And she was of the Jewish persuasion, if you will. And she was not much of one of those. She was more of an atheist of anything else.
Weren't they scientists?
No, she was a psychiatrist.
Okay.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it basically was teaching her how psychiatry should work in the world, or could work in the world. Because the way they teach it now, I'm not a huge fan of the way they do it now, but anyway. Yeah. Yes, I'm a huge fan of Neville Goddard, by the way.
Gets into got the Neville.
Yes.
Power of Awareness. Ray, got it right here on my bed. Actually, this is the last book I was picking up. Coincidentally, Dad, there's a bookmark.
Neville is the man.
Just go there today. There's a bookmark. This is a parking pass that was in my dash in Florida. That was just in there, and I needed a bookmark in my car, and I finally pulled it out of my dash from 21. It's like half burnt to a crisp.
It's been in there a while.
It was in my black car in Florida.
Yeah.
That's a good one. It's a good one.
Yeah, and I want to say this too. If going back a little bit, if you ever get a chance to do a meetup, not just with the crew, but a meetup with anybody that's into XRP or Bitcoin or Solana, whatever your coin is, or let's just say let's say you don't even like Bitcoin, but there's a Bitcoin meetup, you should go, because you'd be blown away. You'd be blown away that the people that are of crypto, y'all have so much in common. There's a lot going on there, and you should really do it. It's honestly, it's what this man plans to do the rest of his life. So I hope to see it one of them. I am not gonna stop doing this. It's that much fun, and I. There were many people that went to that event that had no clue who Alan was, not a clue. And yet I got along with them probably as well, if not better, than the people that did know who I was. Like, they didn't even know I had a show. I was just talking to them for 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about the show. It was about, we have something in common, right? Yeah. It was amazing. You don't have to have a show to go to one of these things. I guess what I'm trying to say. And they'll be your new best friend. Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, you were speaking on lonely people, Dad, and you're not. You know, if you feel that way, I felt that way. You're not. You know, somebody like me can actually feel that way in their life, and like now, my phone's off the hook. You know, with amazing people that I've met from seminars. And so if you do get the opportunity to go to one, I will talk to you. I know I will. That's how I work. So that's how my clock ticks. Is just having deep conversations with people. It's my favorite thing. Is my favorite thing. And one of my best friends, who I hang out with a bunch now, um, you know, I was just like telling her the other day, I was like, I can't even believe somebody like you came into my life, because you know, I feel so noticed. I feel, there's nothing that we can't talk about. There's all these great things that we have to share. And like, even when you think you've got this amazing community and these best of friends, and this, you never know when your next best friend's coming down the road. You just don't. And so go get out there, go having the conversations. I highly encourage it, because there's still some people out there that you haven't met that are gonna blow you away.
Oh yeah.
Leanne's spiritual journeys are in constant flow, changing and adapting to the needs and desires of the soul. That is how I've described it lately, is being in the flow, like one big river. And yeah, gotta just lay down in the center of it, right, Leanne?
Yeah. Here's a great question right here. I mean, personally, I think that virtually all thought and most ideas and creativity is received from spiritual messages. I don't want to get too deep into it, but I also happen to believe that, like, I don't believe that we necessarily have a memory. I believe that we can summon the information from. I don't think it comes from a chunkier brain. I think it actually is just a direct connection to source or God, light, love, whatever. But that's a whole nother topic. So I would say in that sense that a lot of people, yeah, of course. But the one thing, these chickens are driving me crazy. The one thing that I'd like to say about that is, and I'm not throwing anybody under the bus here at all. Please don't take it that way. But this has been my experience, when you have a script, okay, or you essentially do the same show every single day, and you go to your news feed and then you explain that news every single day, and you do a show every single day, it leaves less room for you to be connected, if that makes sense. It doesn't mean that there are lines or certain things they say in there, and they don't sometimes even realize they're saying them. So they are still connected, but they're not allowing it to the point. They're more rigid. They're more scientific. They're more about, oh, it's math. I've got to do it like this. I would say some names of channels right now, but I'm not going to, because I don't want anybody to be offended, because for some reason, no matter whatever it is somebody says, like a third of the population will take it negatively. I could say this is the best human being I've ever met in my whole life, and a third of the population will absolutely rip my lips off for it. And I'm like, I can't win here. So I'm not going to do that. But like, if you're reading a script, mainstream media comes to mind. That's propaganda in almost every case. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, and as a creator, and somebody that does this job, you're writing the same book and you're delivering the same book, and people are still reading it. But what you and I found, right, and I'm sure all of us have at some point with the channels that we watch, it's like, when they don't make it new, when they don't make it creative, when they're not helping you expand, you finally run out of road. It's like, okay, I'm good. I read that book series. I liked it.
Yeah.
It was good, but did it help them grow? Did it help you grow? Was it expansive? I'm glad we've left it. I'm glad we've shot from the hip, Dad, because it opens all those doors.
Yeah.
In the mind, it's like somebody can bring up something in the chat right now, and we could run on that, and that could be as impactful, if not more, to more people, because it's different, because it's interesting, because whatever.
I think it was Jimi Hendrix and Eric Clapton both said this. They never played the song the same twice. and there's something to be said for that. There's a lot to be said for that. Because it allows growth and creativity and flow, and let me make this happen, and that, and it's so expansive. And honestly, that's why we're here. We're here to expand the thought. Now I'm going to go deep. Here's the deep end of the pool, guys. I believe that we're here to physically, because when you're on the other side of the veil, you cannot move things physically, or you don't have the tactile experience of taste and flavor and thought. You have the pure thought, and with thought, you can change virtually anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you come here, and when the blinders, your whole life, many lives, or whatever you believe in, is erased, and you have to start from scratch and you go forward, that connection either strengthens or it doesn't. And when you meet people who are confused in life or frustrated with life, they've severed that connection. And then their life goes down this momentum that is not in the direction that's probably the way they want, but they can't see it because they're on that momentum of that. Well, when you're here and you're expansive and you're growing and you're creating and you're thinking new and thinking better and thinking positively towards your next day, I know it's very law of attraction concept, but it's very real. There's so much to be gained by believing tomorrow is going to be better than today, that it's impossible that that is not part of God's plan. That why wouldn't it be? Because as you grow as a humanity, and believe me, our spiritual minds, lives, souls are eternal. This is just a page in your eternal path, right? And if you can't connect to your eternal soul, then you're just no different than an ape walking around. And I'm not saying an ape isn't connected to his eternal soul. I'm not saying that. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying that you're living your life the way the propagandists would like you to think, which is only with chemistry, math, and your 3D senses. That's it. That's all you are. Don't get out of line, human. That's who you are. You're no bigger than the math equation.
The box.
Yeah. And yet Einstein and Tesla, all of them, when they couldn't find a solution to a problem, Einstein even said it, they would I'm thinking from the problem. I can't think from the problem. I need to think from the solution. So they would take a nap, and they would come. Or some people get it in the shower. Some people get it when I'm grounding out my yard in the sunshine, and they're aware of it, and it makes sense. And that connection is co-creation between you and the energy of the universe. Hope that makes sense.
Yeah. Frankie's got a good one. I cut the cord recently and went data only. Now I consume only what I choose.
Well done, Frankie.
Yeah, I'm
Well done.
less. Yeah, I feel less and less inclined to take sides anymore in my life. It's that feels like the box. And every great philosophical book I've ever read gets into knocking your own walls inside down and opening up all the doors in your mind mansion and being connected and allowing and experiencing and not being like closed, not being rigid, but malleable. Like, I think it's why I read that's most books I've read in my life for sure were either some form of self-help or, philosophical, trying to help me get to that point. But like you said it earlier, Dad, it's like what I realized, from all the reading I was doing was like, I am what I'm seeking. I already am this. Like it's already
I've become it.
what
Yeah.
what what is coming through me. And so allowing that to be out here with everything and everybody else is probably going to be the best version that I can give. And it's going to be the version that is going to grow the most and experience the most in this life, in this chapter. You know, you get it's probably an amazing book. The more I work with people about, you know, visions and dreams and past lives and all that stuff, like it does start to feel like that book. And it's like, man,
Yeah.
my chapter here has already been so great in 39 years. I I wouldn't want anybody else's life. And so to just think about and experience like not just the chapters that are maybe to come in some afterlife or whatever is going to happen, but also what's come before it. Um, and then through all that and through like doing the reconnected feeling, like we've talked to all of you about, something that my stepmother said to me, it all kind of just aligned in this like connection to all of it. And it's funny, I was at my friend's my niece's birthday party yesterday, and I talked to earlier in my life, I was engaged and I was joining a church to that was kind of what her family, and that was really, she was really big into that. She taught religion at a high school, and so I was being open, and I didn't know a lot about that particular one, and so I seeked it, and I found a little box. I found myself boxed into what I am and what I already was as a person and a spiritual person. And I didn't knock it. I still to this day don't knock it. I might knock the institutions and the kind of a crazy history of it, but at the same time, like I learned a lot from that, and it opened me up to the point where it was like I feel connected to everything. So it wasn't this Brent, and then join this church and like that stalled me out. It was like I just kept using it to grow and expand. And
Yeah.
that lily pad, that next jump became the person now that's like I feel connected to everything. I don't
Right.
I don't feel divided anymore. I don't
No.
feel door closed. I don't feel trapped. I
Yeah.
feel like anything's possible,
Yeah.
something that I love, something that I think about can manifest. It can be real. Um, and I'm happy to
It's
be
a it's
I'm
a
happy
big
to be in that awareness state now, Dad.
yeah.
I feel like I was always pretty good at it, but
Yeah.
I have a great peace with it now. I'm not stressed out trying to figure out the answer.
Right.
It's no, this is the answer.
It's a
Seeing
big
my niece yesterday, and her being happy, is the answer.
yeah. it's a big thing that we all do a lot is we're constantly seeking information, trying to get spiritual peace. It's like, whoa, well, wait a minute. You know what I mean? It's sort of like when you become a trader in the beginning, you're like, you want all these indicators to tell you how to be a trader. And what you realize is a decade has gone by and all you've done is look for information when the answers were within you the entire time. You can't you can't learn your way into spiritual growth. There's so many people who are constantly going to this yogi and that retreat and this book and that retreat and this place over here. And the thing of it is all of those things grow and they do help you grow and they explain to you, but they're all telling you the same thing. You are the light. All you need to do is own it. You need to stop thinking it's beyond your capability and live it and be it. Don't think that somebody's better at it because they charge you $500 to go to this retreat and they're the god or the guru that I'm going to gain my spiritual growth from. That's great. They're good people and they're doing great things and good healings and wonderful paths, in particular for people that maybe are just getting into spirituality of some form or another. But it's so important to finally reach that threshold that you're just talking about, Brent, of, oh, wait a minute, I got this. I don't have to think I'm not worthy. I am this.
Yeah.
And it can be whatever I want it to be. It doesn't need to be, I need to conform. This is a problem that I have at a lot of big churches. It's like, well, if you don't think the way the pastor thinks, then, you're outside of connection to God. And it's like, whoa, man. Back up a step now. Like, dude's taking some liberties here on being better than I am about being closer to God. It's like, well, that's a tough one for Al.
Like you said earlier, Dad, it's like, don't tell me that, man. Don't tell me that,
Yeah. And don't get me wrong. There's some incredible ministries out there helping way more than they're hurting anyone. They're not trying to hurt anybody. They're helping people a lot. And I'm glad they're there. Don't get that wrong. Yeah. Well, we didn't talk about crypto much.
Well, there's our Sunday sermon, folks.
Yeah, there's your Sunday.
Church today. You came and hung out with the crew.
I have to laugh because Gary Cardone's been calling his show church on Sundays. He's been doing it half as long as we've been doing church on Sundays, brother. Telling you, man. I'm telling you that. It's whenever two human beings get together and trade perspectives, you're learning. And the key, one of the great questions, I think it was even Zip asked me this. I think he was at the table when I was asked, what YouTube channels do you listen to, Al? And I think this is one of the brilliant questions. And I said, well, I try to listen to less and less each day. But I really only try to listen to ones that are smarter than I am. Number one.
Yeah.
I need to grow. If I'm not growing in knowledge, then I need to find a new channel. Okay. So if they're not making me think outside the bubble, I should say, and I don't listen to any news channels, very fair, maybe once a week to find out, I don't know, what's Ripple up to this week or something. But when I really, really get somebody Here's what happens. You find somebody you really like a couple of years ago, I really loved everything Robert Breedlove did. Okay. But then you get, and I'm gonna call it his ministry. Then you get his book in your head. You need to move on because he's growing, but he's not growing at the rate you're growing at. So you need to move on to the next show or the next person that helps you expand and figure out what it is, the piece of the puzzle that you're looking to expand on. So I can't listen to shows that are mindless number go up channel. I can't listen to Chartists because I did that for so long that I know they have no idea. They have no clue where it's going. They don't even have a glimpse of an idea of what tomorrow's number is going to be. They can tell you some probabilities that are maybe 51%, maybe. So,
yeah. I want to shout out. Good call, John. I want to shout out Digital Outlook. I started watching Digital Outlook about a year ago when we met Dave and Judy, and we're doing the party with them in Vegas. That we did on Thursday night. Like his show is not only is he even more Care Bear and positive, I feel like even than we are, Dad. It's like the guy's energy is off the hook, but his content is like constantly keeping up and finding new angles on XRP. If you guys are interested in that, I really get a lot from every time I hear Dave on, and I really love when Dave has guests on. Really good shows.
Yeah.
If anybody resonates with you, throw them in the chat, crew.
Yeah. Digital asset investor. He's a good guy. There's a lot of things about his stuff that I like. There's a lot of stuff I don't like, but I mean, that's true with everybody, right? The one thing I have to say about Dave's show, hit the show that he does on Monday mornings with the brothers. I'm out. I'm done with it. Out. I keep trying, and people send them to me, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch and I'm 10 minutes into the show, and I'm like, I'm not gonna listen to this. This is not resonating with me. That doesn't make any sense, and yet we're repeating as if it's fact. That's another scary thing too. Is a lot of people are regurgitating the same story as if it's factual now. And I really see it. I really see it in. I'm just going to call them what they are in the Bitcoin maxis, the XRP maxis, the Cardano maxis, and they're stating things about those other maxis that are fact. Well, this is a fact now because we've repeated it for so long on this channel. It's factual, and it's like, no, man, no. That's not even, it's not even, the code actually says the opposite of what you believe. And the code is open source. You could just go look it up, but you're telling tens of thousands of people a lie because you believe that lie because it's your reality now. And this is the very dangerous part about tribalism, in any sense. And you really have to be careful. Yeah, Mikkel. I spent the weekend with Mikkel, and
Mikkel rocks.
He's awesome. I can tell you, he and I are going to do some shows together. I am going to get to the bottom of that guy because he's very, Mr. Mann's good stuff. As a matter of fact, Mr. Mann's supposed to call me today, I think. He and I were supposed to talk.
Nice.
Today? Yeah. Yeah, we're going to have a conversation today.
Spider-Man.
Is today the 5th?
It's the 6th.
Today's the 6th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we're supposed to talk today. Anyway, Yeah, Mr. Man's sharp. He does a lot of really good research. We got to tone the negativity down a little bit. Sky is not falling. But other than that, I mean, he's a young man, so I get it. I mean, but yeah.
T's crypto spot. Love to go back and watch T. Glad you shouted that out, Qwerty.
T is absolutely brilliant, okay, at what T does. Brilliant, man. And we're so blessed to have him in this space, period. He is, when it comes to IT and the systems and the networks, nobody better. I mean, yeah, maybe Quincy Jones comes to mind, but like nobody's better than T on all that. Yeah. However, I've reached out to him 3 or 4 times and have not been able to hook up with that guy. He's a tough get. I know he used to do a whole lot more interviews, and it doesn't seem like he does many anymore. And I keep wanting him to come to Vegas, and I don't know why. He just never does. Sorry about my coughing throughout the show, guys.
Maximus Crypto, don't know of it. Let's look at it. Thank you, Gabriel. Was Gabriel at the party?
Gabriel at the party.
Like somebody,
I don't know. There's a lot of
people
reached
out to me from the party. Another note. It's Montana Day. Happy 406, Becky. That dog. Nice. I love the dog.
Yes.
I had to get Becky's access back on here because there's errors that happen and things. I don't know what happened, but we lost Becky for a minute there, which is scary. And I was like, I'm trying to find the right person because there's a lot of Beckys out there. Even in our group, apparently, there's like 4 Beckys.
Wow.
And like it really, like, it sounds barbaric, but I need you to throw up a specific picture so I know it's you.
Yeah.
And we got the cocker.
Oh, yeah.
That's my Felix. He's a good boy.
We spent one of my favorite things that happened over the weekend is a guy walks up to me and says, I have 4 grandkids. He named their names. My name is this. I live in this place, and my dog's names are this. I've said that on the show a lot. Hey, when you come up and you shake my hand and you meet me, tell me, I want to know who you are and where you're from and what you do and what your dog's name is. And he just, that's what he did. He shook my hand and just repeated everything. I was like, this guy has been listening. I love it. It was so good.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Good stuff, guys. All right, B-Man, you and I got a couple things we got to talk about. So let's
do it.
Let's end this thing. Love you all, as you all know. And I'm going to put out a show. Please do not miss this coming Thursday night show. And tell somebody if they're into crypto. It's not specifically XRP. It's going to be the big picture. So it's going to be a great show, I think. I hope. I might just blunder the whole thing, but yeah, who knows?
Thank you, everybody. Robert, Leanne, Crawfish, John, Becky, thank you all for being in here. David, much love. Teresa, Chris, thank you so much, everybody. Much love to you all. Hope you have an amazing rest of your weekend. And I hope you have a great April. Happy spring, everybody.